Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Oh, this is great.
Mike, how you doing?
I'm great, John. All right, well, here we sit. We've spent 600 days wasting our time on this project, the search for Max Purro.
We spent a lot of days on this. The very first flight any Max Purro case took, I don't remember why. I was doing that flight.
I remember why. You had an invite. You were going to some show, but James jumped in with you, I think. Wasn't it
I
to
picked
you?
James up.
But you flew to Leadville first, remember?
By myself.
Okay.
And because I wanted Max to go to the highest elevation airport in the country.
That's right.
Maybe she was there.
She could have been.
She wasn't, but I did get a sticker.
Do you know if she was there, though?
I only searched for like 20 minutes. I had to go to Stearman Field.
Stearman Field. You went to Nebraska, right? To the Big Balls Festival.
It was awesome. It was awesome. We went to Stearman Field. I picked up James. We went to Kansas City.
So he was already there? I could have sworn
He was there because he was doing Stearman flying.
This wasn't a different trip?
No, where else would you be doing Stearman flying except for Stearman Field?
I don't know.
And then we went to Kansas City and had Brazilian barbecue.
Yeah.
That went in the case.
Yeah.
Not the barbecue, but the Fogo de Chao token.
Yeah.
And then Omaha. You're right. I was there for the Berkshire Hathaway conference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what that trip was.
I remember you were there for a conference.
Yeah, but I don't know why I went to Stearman Field.
I love this. Okay, to rewind for some context. I think what we're going to do is we're going to run through the idea. Then we're going to run through the design and implementation. There's some fun stuff there, and the gameplay. So a couple years ago, I had this idea of a game of pilot to pilot, pass it on, right? And so I came to you because I knew you could make the thing work.
But I might be able to make it work.
Yeah, well, I definitely couldn't. But I wanted to do a game of pilot to pilot, pass it on. So that was it. So, right? So we talked about what we were going to do with this thing, and we took it from there.
That was the prototype flight, and we wanted to know if Apple AirTags, which were pretty ubiquitous, could be tracked across the country to airport and be able to put little breadcrumbs across the map.
Yeah. So we equipped you with the AirTag, and you flew that thing. You went Leadville, Omaha, bounced your way back. We pulled up the data, and of course it was tracking.
It was tracking.
So that was good. We also put a tile chip. We sent a tile with Juan Brown to Australia.
Oh, that's right. We did a bake-off, Apple AirTags versus the tile.
Yeah, and it was funny. So we were following him around. You could see what hotel he was staying at, what he was doing in Sydney, and the whole time he was dragging around the tile tag. But the tile tag, I can't remember if we had issues with the battery lasting or what it was, but we didn't like the tile.
It wasn't tracking super well, and the battery life was not as long as the AirTags.
Yeah, it wasn't as good. So AirTags it was. Okay, I got a laundry list of notes here. So, yep, I got the game of Pass It On. We started this in 2023.
First flight was May 2023.
So has it been 3 years, almost, or over 3 years?
Yeah.
Wait, no.
Yeah, May 2023
No,
was the first flight.
I'm thinking it's 26 already. So 23, 20, yeah, 3 years.
Over 2 years. But then when we launched, I don't remember what day we launched. That was the prototype flight.
Well, we're 600 days in now, I think. 600 days.
600 days.
So yeah, we sent some AirTags around, and from there we decided, okay, well the tags are working, so what are we going to do with this game of pilot to pilot, pass it on, right? And so when I was thinking through the ideas of this, I had two movies that I liked that inspired this. We had The Search for Animal Chin, which I'm guessing you know this, maybe you don't. But there was The Search for Animal Chin, which was an old skate movie.
I have not seen that.
God, you haven't seen that. One of the best Pal Peralta movies came out in the 80s, but it's about this mythical character, that Wonton Animal Chin, who is basically the first skateboarder that this group of skateboarders set off to find. And of course, it's a little cliche, but the journey was the reward on that, right? It's all about, the search and meeting people along the way and finding awesome new spots and whatever. So there was that movie that I loved. And then there was It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. You've seen that?
Yes.
Okay, so that was just kind of this fun, humorous take on looking for this treasure and the friendships and the battles that came along with that. So that was really fun.
Good inspiration.
Yeah, so that was the inspiration. So the search for Max Purro really came from the search for Animal Chin. That's where it kind of spawned. But Max Purro, the name, of course, rewinds back to the Cheshire Cat. Every name I came up with where I was kind of vetting them was like something about purring or cat smiles or grin. I can't remember. I had a list somewhere of the names, but maybe I can pull that up for the video. But Maxine Purro was what came out of it. Yep, so that was kind of how that came along. And then, yeah, from there, to rewind into the larger story, right? We've got this AirTag, we've got these cases, we're gonna send them out, but like, what's kind of the point of this, right? So Max Purro, this aviator who's gone missing, used to collect all these mementos. So the idea was simple. Let's just send out these cases.
Every airport she went to, she wanted a token.
That's right. And so let's send these out and let's pass them on to people and let's have them throw in a token and let's see what we can collect. Do we have anything from this whole game? Do we? No, because the cases are God knows where.
Cases are scattered around the world. They're still moving.
They are still moving. People are still playing. And I think we determined almost half the batteries now are dead.
Close to.
A number of batteries people replaced.
Yep.
Yep. I got a number of messages, hey, replace the battery and sending this thing back off into the wild. Anyway, so that was fun. But yeah, so rewinding into the larger story, the search for Max Purro, we're looking for this missing mementos, and what can we do with that?
You did get people a little nervous about the search for a missing aviator.
That's right, yeah, so that actually is a great segment here. After talking with Trent, so we flew over to Trent's house to do the video. He puts out this video with everybody called it clickbait crap, but
you did a great video with him.
It was an awesome video, but it started off with this dramatic scene of this missing aviator that went down in the Sierras in potentially a cub, and it sent people into a frenzy.
You launched search and rescue. I mean, people were literally panicking about this aviator.
It was so awesome. Oh man, so yeah, I think Trent went in quickly and changed this to, it was a gameplay and this and that. Yeah, but that spawned, there was a number of things that spawned, and the biggest one was the request tool. So, yes. Okay, so to rewind a little bit, so okay, we've got the big story, we've got Max Purro, we've got the concept and the vision
board.
Yeah. So then it became, John, can we build this thing? And that got into the interface design and the map and the UI data. We had arguments over the pill label, right? How many times did we talk about the pills?
We redesigned the pills a dozen times.
And the trays.
And the trays.
Trays and pills.
Times. Yeah, there was some precise design work done on those.
Yeah, absolutely. But it turned out looking great.
It did. I think the first moment when we had that little bit of sunlight on success.
Yep.
Was when I picked the dark theme for the map.
Yeah, that was sweet.
That was a critical moment.
Wasn't there at first, there was like a couple different perspectives. You had like a flat layout, which didn't you like the flat layout?
I liked the flat layout.
And then you had the globe.
Yeah, we did. We did the flat layout and then the globe. And the problem is when you move from a flat layout to a globe, your lines can't be straight anymore.
That's right. And we had a problem with the Dubai flight with the lines that kept throwing bugs into the top. What happened with that?
We still have that bug.
God, that bug's still there.
The Dubai flight flew over the pole, and the software that we're using doesn't render the very tip of the world quite correctly if you draw a line across it.
Yeah, it gets confused up there in the North Pole. Oh man, that's pretty funny. So yeah, so we went with the globe. Uh-oh, whatever happened there. Is that the AirTags wigging out?
No, this is actually the search tool. Is every minute or two, it's going to rerun the Find My and find all the AirTags.
Got it.
And if any AirTags are near an airport, it's going to consider that a visit. And now, if it was at an airport, it's not a new visit. It's still at the airport.
Yep.
But if it's at a new airport, then it draws a line on the map automatically. And it's running that software 24/7 for 600 and so many days.
So let's talk about that for a second. Of course, we went through the design, the UI. We had to, build this thing. We went through rev and back and forth. I don't know how many hours do you think we spent messing around on this thing?
Uncountable.
So it's been running, over 600 days now. And so tell me about the machine, because this thing's been sitting on your desk.
Well, as you know, but not everyone might know, privacy and security are kind of a thing I care a lot about.
Yes.
And so you approached me about the idea that we're going to send AirTags out into the world, and they're going to go around and we're going to find out what airports people are flying to. I was a little concerned about the resolution of the data, whether it would leak. We don't want to leak people's locations.
Yes.
We don't want, because when you've got time and places, now you've got the ability to identify people. And so we went early on in the design exercise into the idea that we would only be tracking airports.
Just
so
airports.
The locations we show are only airports, and it's airport to airport to airport. So we timestamp when airports are visited.
Yep.
But we don't provide any location data for people. And so for 2 years, this computer has been tracking AirTags, and basically protecting the identities of all the players, all the flights. It's really only showing airport to airport tracking.
Yeah.
Which now, looking back, is one of the reasons why we have no idea who has the tags and where they are.
It's so funny. Oh man, so we put together, yeah, so after kind of the design, then there's the physical elements, right? We spent, God, well, I can't call James because my phone's filming this thing. James, we're thinking about you. James Sims, our third counterpart here, who was like our support friend.
He's the money and the man behind Max
Yeah,
Purro.
he would send, we got this running joke of the number 69 ongoing forever, but James would send $69 every time we needed a new case. And I think I went out and bought 4 cases or something. We ran these Pelican cases. Beautiful, nice little clear cases. We wanted people to see inside. This wasn't some sort of weird bomb you're handing off to somebody at a random airport or whatever. But the tag would be in there and it'd be filled with stickers and, you know, patches and other mementos, keychains and whatever somebody wanted to put in there. So a clear Pelican case. James, I think, bought probably 26 of those things or something. Multiply that by $69. I don't know. So we spent that money and then we had to go out and buy the damn air tags. But we ended up with 30 cases, 30 air tags. And with each of those, you know, we had to print labels. Yep. You know, we had to come up with logos, designs, labels, and package these things, and then hand them off to somebody to fly out into the world. So that was kind of fun. So yeah, God knows how many hours we have designing this thing. And then on top of designing the thing, like we would just rev online. Oh, what are we going to come up with today? So the request tool was great. We wanted people to, hey, I want a case. I've learned about this. And now again, Trent's video took that off. I think we got.
Did the special airports start before or after the request?
After, and I think the special airports, back to James, was we were trying to connect James with like maybe a woman aviator out there.
Well, he does need to connect to. He did need to connect to Woman Aviator, and,
yeah.
And he did eventually.
I think he did.
He did eventually, but we were trying to make that serendipitous.
Yeah.
So we had a special airports tag where every time James moved around the world, not that we were tracking you, James,
right.
but we were a little bit. We would tag that airport where he was working out of or based out of with this as a special airport.
Yep, the special airport with James. I wonder if. Did any cases ever make it? I think there was a connection in Alaska that was getting close to happening, but we kept watching the cases and it never left like Talkeetna or wherever it was and wherever James was. But they were close.
He was working in Homer, and there was a couple of cases in Alaska that summer.
Yeah, and the request tool did get a number of cases handed off. I know I hand delivered a couple. I know that
I did too.
Yeah, you did too, and I think a couple other game players just did that. So that was really cool. And then, yeah, so I had a note about the special airports and James. That was good. The request tool was awesome. And then on top of that, internationally, these cases, so once we kind of handed them off and they started flying around, I mean, did we hit every continent?
I think we've gotten close. I have to look at the map. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think
but I do know that we've got general aviation.
Yeah.
We got some military aviation. We got some commercial aviation involved in this. There were some cases that went to, one of the first international trips was a trip to Dubai.
Yep.
Australia, Dubai, some bounced around Europe.
Yeah, one went into China. I think Adrian Ballinger took one over to China, which I was curious, are the tags still going to work, within?
That's a great question.
I don't know, but it did. It tracked through China. He went and climbed Mount Everest and then brought the thing, I think, home, or maybe he handed off. I can't remember. Oh, great. My battery's going to die on the computer. I can remember all the stuff we're talking about. But yeah, so I covered all the continents. Now, half of the tags have kind of gone dead and maybe they're still being passed around. One went to Florida and stayed there for like 9 months. The guy put it on his shelf, finally tracked him down or called the airport. Remember that?
You called the FBO and you were like, do you know anything about this search for a missing aviator? That was probably not the right way to start that phone call.
Like, what are you talking about? And anyway, yeah, I tracked it down to a particular FBO. Then it went to the flight school, and somebody at the flight school had got it, and they'd just thrown it on the shelf. And I ended up talking to a guy, and he's like, yeah, we were trying to figure out what the hell that case was the whole time. It's been just sitting on the shelf. I'm like, well, you mind handing it off to somebody else? Oh, man. So that was great. Got that one back into circulation. And there's still a handful going around. One's in South Africa right now. One's down in Patagonia.
Amazing.
I think there's the one in Greenland, I think, died at some point. That one bounced around Europe, ended up in Greenland, died. There's still a couple in Alaska, if I remember.
The trips that people took, and we don't know who and where exactly, but we've got a rough idea. People would fly into Mexico, loop back into the United States. There was trips across country. You could see the people that are doing A to B flying and people that were meandering on a road trip style.
Yeah.
It was great.
It was incredible. Do you got your phone on you?
I've got my phone.
Pull up our data list real quick. Let's walk through some stats. So, implementation and gameplay. I mean, there was all kinds of stuff. These newspapers, the newspaper article, these things got left all around the place, you know, all around airports, FBOs. These got handed out. I mean, they were printed, published in magazines, but you know, some people were awfully confused with this whole thing. Like, I don't know if it was a little too deep, like, you know, missing aviator, what is this thing? You know, this person who disappeared, Max. I mean, hell, last year, 2024 Oshkosh, I contacted this Bell agency, a talent agency in Wisconsin, and I said, hey, you know, what would it take to get someone to go out to Oshkosh and pretend they're Max Purro and put a face to the name? Anyway, it was extremely affordable and totally doable. So we sent this gal, D was her name, out to, and she went for 3 days.
Oshkosh was one of our special airports.
Yep, when we took D out to Oshkosh, and she meandered around and gave out stickers and introduced herself as Max, and it was great. Got a lot of good feedback and attention out of that one. Yeah, international engagement's been awesome. And to the gameplay, like I said, we would just riff on this thing. So we'd be watching the data, and all of a sudden John would be, you know, he'd call and say, oh, I just implemented asteroids into the game. If you hit this key command on the interface, we can start playing asteroids. How many Easter eggs did we end up coming up with?
This is what happens when you get a bored developer. And I had a moment of extra boredom while I was staring at, you know, and daydreaming about the Max interface. We put a lot of Easter eggs in there.
There was
an Alice in Wonderland Easter egg.
Yep. Wasn't there something where you could just kind of repetitive tap and it would just change the opacity of the game until it went dark or something?
Yeah.
Or was that a bug?
No, it just makes well, maybe it started out as a bug, but it became an Easter egg. But if you're typing in the screen, eventually it's going to remind you that you've been staring at the interface too long. This is actually a self-help tool, and the interface just blurs out into the transparent.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Oh, and I can't remember some of the other ones. I know there was asteroids we built, and there was just a couple other ones. Like, let's make I forget. Run through some stats real quick. Let me make sure this thing's still.
Yeah, we did have some fun with the Easter eggs for friends. So if you typed some certain special people's names in,
that's right.
Certain special things occurred on the interface. I actually don't know.
Hence a James and maybe another 69 reference.
Yeah,
I don't think anything explicit.
Nothing explicit.
Yeah,
no.
nothing explicit.
And I don't even know, because we don't track this, if anyone even found the Easter eggs.
I'm gonna doubt it. We had a good time with it though.
I think
we did sprinkle some awareness of the Easter eggs at some point. But yeah, the Instagram account was great.
We got a lot of tags on the Instagram account.
Ton of tags. Videos were getting sent. So we set up an account for Max. And put a face to the name, and yeah, there was tons of inbound, like direct messages sent, videos sent, people tagging.
The handoffs being Instagrammed were super fun, because you get the case and 2 hands.
Yep. And
it just, the transfer occurs, and you don't know who and where exactly, but you've got magic is happening.
It was tricky to track, that's for sure. Because sometimes people would tag a username, or sometimes they'd tag a hashtag, and you just wouldn't quite know where these things are. The only way to track them was to just watch the map online. Okay, go through some of the data.
Well, it's really pretty impressive, I think.
Yeah.
We've been searching for a little while, 600 some days, and have almost 1,100 airports around the world.
That's the unique airports where these things have been.
Unique airports that these cases have visited
1,100
on their way around their journeys.
That's crazy.
And that's almost 1.5 million miles traveled.
1.5 million miles. So let's put that in context. The moon's how far away? 225,000 miles? 250,000. Let's call it 250,000 miles. So from here in Truckee to the moon, 6 times, 7 times, 6 times, 6 times.
Math is
so not. So three times now. That's why I leave it to you, John.
But what that is, and the U.S. does have a lot of airports.
Yes.
But
what is there, like 6,000 airports?
More.
Is there?
Because we're counting in backcountry strips. We did filter out some float plane bases initially. We filtered out heliports. Not that we didn't want rotor guys to play, but we were trying to there's a lot of dots on the map, and we were trying to figure out UI and clustering. But there's a lot of airports, and so we have 47,516 airports currently in the database
Okay,
worldwide.
47,000. I'm way off. Yeah.
That's worldwide.
Okay. Yep.
And more than 2.3% of those airports have been visited.
It's crazy.
As part of the game.
Yeah.
1 in 50 airports.
That's pretty awesome.
That's amazing.
I mean, and when we started this thing, we had no, like, is this thing even going to work? Is anyone going to hand it off? Is this just dead next week? And it was actually pretty mind-boggling that the batteries lasted about a year.
The batteries on those AirTags are awesome.
Yeah, I mean, they really last about a year, and that's constant pinging. And who knows how much, how many people freaked out when they start hearing the little chirping noise?
Well, so that's the thing that we didn't realize early on was the chirp would tell you that a foreign AirTag, an unknown AirTag, is starting to follow you.
Somebody's following us around.
And so when it chirps, it does use a little bit more battery life.
Yeah.
But, you can tag. I think Apple has support for this AirTag. I'm aware of this AirTag. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. God. Okay. What other data do we have there? Airports visits. So yeah, we were all over the place. 600 days, over a million and a half miles. I mean, that's insane.
Insane. 206 requests currently on the website.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And we still have 3 special airports.
And we were still trying to figure out how to like tag or check off the request. We had all sorts of additional features we were going to build, and then life got in the way.
Life did get in the way, but also if you don't know who has the cases and where they are exactly, it's pretty hard to build those kinds of features.
Right. We did learn a little bit through this process.
But even today we had the last 5 airport visits. Today there's Oshkosh.
Okay.
Happens to be visited today by
Really?
a case.
What case number was that?
Case 13.
All right.
Case,
Lucky number 13.
Case
Back to Osh.
17 is in Wasilla, Alaska.
Okay. Yeah.
And so they're still moving around.
Cases are cruising.
Case 7 went on a trip yesterday. Moffett, Reed Hillview, down to Santa Barbara, Van Nuys.
Wow.
We don't know why or what, but it's moving.
Do you think people are going to be sad when we turn off the game?
People are obviously playing the game.
Yeah, which is great.
And I know that they've been passing them on. And if you think about the items that people have been putting in these cases, there's special stuff from all around the world.
Do you think we're ever going to see any of that stuff?
God, I sure hope so. People, maybe there's a retrospective moment where people could see this video and share back with us the adventures.
Oh my gosh, that would be incredible. Please, yeah, if you've got a case in hand, open it up and send a video along. That would be so cool. So, yeah, the game's been going a long time, and the reality is we kind of need your computer back.
So along the way, the software that I wrote early on was using the Apple's API for tracking these AirTags.
Yep.
And like I said, we were binning the locations so that protect people's privacy, and it was all running on this computer. But Apple changed their API.
Right.
And I blissfully upgraded one day, and Max Purro broke.
It broke.
And I found myself in a conundrum of calling Mike and telling him the game was over.
Yep.
Doing an unknown amount of work to figure out how to fix it, or rolling back.
How many times did we have to do a lot of work to fix something?
We did, or rolling it back. And so I rolled it back to the old version, and it's been stuck for 2 years.
Right.
On the old version of Apple's OS, because that was what
no
worked.
Updates. You can't. Yeah, you haven't even been able to turn this thing. And a couple times didn't. We should be okay with the audio. A couple times didn't. Power went down, or there were a couple times the game had to go offline for just a couple hours, maybe.
This was basically in a closet.
Yeah.
And it was not as actively monitored as maybe one would want for production quality software. So we had a couple of days here and there where the site stopped updating.
Yeah, it was all good, and you wouldn't know from the outside perspective because you're looking at the interface. It doesn't say something's broken or down. It's just not updating the data.
No, but I'll tell you what. There's some fun stats I'd like to share. So Case 7, we talked about Case 7 a second ago.
Yep.
Has visited 132 unique airports.
Crazy.
It's the most active case. It's gone 265,000 miles.
Okay.
More than the 250,000 we were talking about a second ago. We tracked 555 flights.
Crazy.
And it is currently somewhere near Van Nuys.
So just think about that. That case is flown almost every day, for the most part. How many miles did you say that case is?
265,000 miles.
God, that case alone's gone past the moon. It's almost a 3i Atlas at this point in time. That's pretty darn neat. What else?
Well, like I said, we've got some cases that have gone to big airports. So there's a case currently that visited LaGuardia,
Yeah.
Boston Logan, SeaTac, and I imagine that those were or part of a longer itinerary. So it'll be interesting to see where
Yeah.
they move after that. But
Wild. Yeah, there were a few people that really got involved and enjoyed the game.
and the facts that come out from all of this. So, when I went to Stearman Field on that first flight, we were
Yeah.
thinking about, well, what is this case? How are people going to play this game? And so, I got a sticker from Leadville because that's a pretty special airport.
Yep.
Went to Stearman Field to pick up a friend. Had lunch. There's a beautiful restaurant on that field. And
Yep.
I don't know. Flying for food is probably one of the greatest joys in the world.
Right.
If you happen to be in an airplane or at an airport and also eating, that's perfection. So we were eating at the Stearman Field. I put a gift certificate from that restaurant in that first case.
Oh, did you really?
I don't know if anyone ever redeemed it.
Oh,
but
man.
but there was
Was it case one? Must have been.
It must have been case
Yeah,
one. I
must
don't
have been
remember how we
case
named
one.
him at the time.
Yeah.
But we put a gift certificate in as well as the Fogo de Chao token for
Yeah.
the barbecue we had for dinner later that day. But the adventures that these cases have gone on and the memorabilia about the country and the world
Yeah.
that they've taken has been phenomenal. And the learning. When I passed off a case, it was to a really cool guy outside Monterey, California, near Carmel. And I didn't know
Yep.
that Carmel was one of the earliest, or maybe the earliest, sort of residential air parks in the country.
That's right. I remember this.
And it had been closed at some point, but it was an area hikers would go to.
Yeah.
And you could still find bits of the old runway, the old tarmac.
Yeah.
And the guy I handed it off to was so inspired by that and learning to fly and getting into aviation that he wanted to take a memento from the air park and put it in the case.
How rad is that?
Also, a leather worker, a metal worker, he had some ideas on maybe putting together a keychain. I never quite found out, what form it took.
I wonder if it's
piece of that air park went on a journey.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, that's so neat. I know I met a few people, pilots, new aspiring pilots, people that just wanted to get in the game that just hung out at airports.
Now that's worth mentioning because early on the question was who's going to play.
Yep.
And so one of the questions, the immediate thoughts was, well, pilots are going to play.
Yep.
But there is so much to aviation.
Yeah.
There are pilots, there's ramp workers, FBO workers, people that just want to sit at a park and watch airplanes at an airport, people that fly commercial.
Totally.
Military people that are learning, student pilots.
Yes.
Want to be pilots. People that just want to take their kids and inspire them for the next generation.
Yep.
And that became a surprise to me, was how open that game became, because everyone in every one of those categories played.
Yeah, that's so cool. And I mean, that kind of goes back to just the root of these stupid ideas that we put together and things that we waste all our time on, or much of our time. But like, my goal in aviation was always kind of to inspire aviation in new ways to new people, to broader audiences, all that sort of stuff. And I think like that's kind of part of the reason of doing these kind of games. It's why I wrap my plane the way I do. But inspiring in new ways and coming up with these new ideas, I think, are instrumental in the world of aviation, especially in today's convoluted world of content and repetitive ideas and kind of the same storytelling, where if you don't get creative with these ideas and come up with something new, and I don't know, what good is any of this?
What good is any of this?
Super fun.
Super fun.
Okay, I don't know how long that was, but I think it's time. Are you going to turn this thing off? Are you ending the game? Or am I?
I'm not going to end the game. Are you going to end the game? Should we end the game?
Together?
Together?
There's 2 plugs. All right. So, a couple years down.
There,
Max
grab this.
There we go.
Yeah.
Even better.
Even better.
2 years down in the making.
Grand adventures.
Not everything lives forever, John.
To the moon and back.
To the moon and back. That was awesome. Okay, I sure hope that recorded.